From Transformers Earthspark, these are the CyberCombiner 2-packs. So we have Bumblebee with Mo, kind of weird that's not Thrash, but whatever, and Twitch and Robby. So the whole idea is that Earthspark is about to go into a new line-wide gimmick in which the Autobot figures are going to be able to combine with each other. So, for instance, you could have Twitch here be the torso or the lower body for a larger combined character. This is something they actually started in Transformers Energon. That was the big line-wide gimmick there. Really cool to see it come back. I always loved Energon. And this is also going to be seen in the Warrior figures of next year. So these are kind of our first look at what these figures might play like. And it makes sense that they'd go with Bumblebee and Twitch. Twitch is probably the most popular Autobot from Earthspark and also my favorite character from Earthspark right now. Whereas Bumblebee is Bumblebee, so he's going to sell probably. We're going to take a look-see. My big curiosity is if you can cross-pollinate these sets. Like, I wonder if you can make the Maltos combine together, or if you can combine Twitch and Bumblebee. But let's actually have a look-see at it now. We'll look at Bumblebee's 2-pack first, and then Twitch and Robby. Looking at these two, my first reaction is the Mo is a lot more interesting than I would have thought. Bumblebee is a lot rougher than I would have thought. And in fact, Bumblebee reminds me of a very specific toy that's already come out, that being the original Energon Hotshot. Like I said, this line has definitely taken some inspiration from Energon. Me saying Bumblebee reminds me a lot of this Hotshot is not a compliment. Just looking at Bumblebee, he looks fine. He is very bottom heavy. He is definitely designed to be either punching gloves or legs at all times. But aside from that, his proportions are fine. I don't really like how his arms came together. Looking at the articulation, there's nothing at the head. You have a ball joint at the shoulder. You have just up and down at the elbow. You have nothing in the waist. You have universal at the hip. You have forward and back at the knee, weirdly enough. And then I guess you can count this toe flap, but I personally wouldn't. Alongside that, he's just so boring looking. I don't dig this Bumblebee at all. The transformation was actually kind of clever. I actually dug it, but it doesn't get you a good looking car mode. You have this massive hinge on the windshield. You have this weird flap up here that's supposed to hide the other head. And you can see, like, there's not much going on in terms of his actual body. What's more interesting is just how much this car mode is all in his lower legs. So Bumblebee, unless Twitch is just absolutely terrible, I feel like Bumblebee's probably going to wind up being the worst figure here. Mo is a lot more interesting. For one thing, I like how they have the Energon wings. I think that looks pretty cool. The overall design of the mech suit's kind of bland, but it is, you know, accurate to what I assume it's going to look like in the show, just from the clips we've seen. Alongside that, I do like that you can actually see her head in there. I was not expecting that. The articulation's pretty solid, nothing in the head, but ball joint at the shoulder, up and down at the elbow, universal at the hip, and then back at the knee. Oh, and forward as well. So basically the same points as Bumblebee, but it feels better on Mo, and it's a whole lot less hindered. There's no vehicle mode here, so that's really all they had to do. Between these two figures, you only got one accessory, that being this big Energon sword. Seeing as how they're supposed to combine, I think it's fine that they only got the one sword, but if you want one of them to hold it, you just put it in the hand, and... Oop. Oh, it's actually... Oh, it's very tight in at least Mo's hand. But okay, there you go. So, let's see how these guys actually looked combined. I think we're going to try Bumblebee as the upper body first. The transformation to get to these modes were incredibly simple. As you can see with Mo, it's literally just head goes down and arms get into a really weird position. Bumblebee was actually a little bit more intense, and it gets you a good looking torso mode. Again, it really brings to mind Energon Hotshot for me. So, we just combine them like so. Up. And there we go. I hadn't seen these two together. Okay, wow. Yeah, that's a very top-heavy bot. It's also really weird to me. Mo has wings, but the wings just kind of get hidden underneath Bumblebee. It's a case where I could see this torso mode looking really good if there was a larger lower body, but with Mo down there, Bumblebee just looks really odd. Let's switch them around. Alright, this one is really rough too. I think the issue here is Bumblebee's arms don't go anywhere, which means that you have this very thin torso that actually would fit Bumblebee's torso, but then just randomly gets big right there at the sides. Also, Mo's legs are very thin, so this is also like just giving like these very weird string bean arms coming off a massive body. The wings are still here. You can kind of maneuver them to try to get them up over the shoulder line. It doesn't really work. So yeah, so far the Bumblebee and Mo 2-pack. These are not great combined modes. I do think this is a better combined mode than Bumblebee being the upper body, but let's see how the others turned out. My first impressions are these two look better. Twitch has a very small head and the figure's kind of clunky. Definitely a lot more clunky than the Warrior or the Deluxe Twitch, but it still works. It's still clearly Twitch. And then as for Robby, he just looks better than Mo. His figure is a lot bulkier, there's a little bit more paint, and you can still see that his head is also inside the dome. So, already, these guys are looking pretty good. We'll also get articulation out of the way now. They have the same articulation as their counterparts, so nothing in the head. Ball joint at the shoulder for Twitch. That said, they do have a little bit of forward. Oh, it's tight, but they do have a little bit of forward and back. They have one single jointed elbow. They have a universal down here at the hip. They have a knee that goes forward and back. Nothing down here in the ankle. As for Robby, nothing in the head. Ball joint at the shoulder. Good knee, actually a double jointed knee. Or elbow, apology. Universal at the hip, and then, it's tight, but you got forward and back at the knee. So, overall, these guys are looking a bit better. Let's check out Twitch's vehicle mode. Before we do, I will say I really don't like this head sculpt for Twitch. One, it's way too small for the body, but two, it's just weirdly sunken in. It actually reminds me more of Swoop than of Twitch. Twitch's drone mode is really rough. I do think it's better than Bumblebee's car mode, but yeah, this is just not great. Let's look at combined modes. Combined mode is once again very rough. Again, just like last time, the issue is Robby looks really small compared to their lower body. I do think Twitch makes a better pair of legs than Bumblebee, but at the same time, this is still rough. Also, I forgot to mention, these figures came with an accessory as well, but unlike Mo and Bumblebee who got a sword, they get a gun. So we can put the gun in the arm there, fits well enough. This is fine. Again, I think it's better than the combined mode that we saw with Mo and Bumblebee, but let's flip them around and see if maybe it looks better with Twitch as the upper body. You know what? That's the best combined mode so far. One second, let me fix this. There we go. I think this works very well. So because of how wide Twitch's shoulders are, when you have Robby use his arms to kind of fill out the back, it gives you a good solid looking upper body. The lower body is also just large enough to make everything kind of flow well into each other. Alongside that, it's a good color scheme, meshes well, and I adore Twitch's combined head sculpt. Now, when it came to the human characters, they just kind of had the prime Soundwave visor. Here, I'm going to pull in Mo just so you can see it again. And Bumblebee, it was basically just his head sculpt with some blue. But with Twitch, you can see they added some details to the helmet design. There's a new visor. That's really nice looking, actually. So, that is my favorite combined mode out of these four. I still wouldn't say it's a particularly good one, but it is the best one. Now we have both of our combined robots together, and here's what I really want to know, is can you put Twitch on Bumblebee and Mo on Robby? Because I actually think that would give you the best looking out of all these combined modes. So let's try. I don't know why they wouldn't make it, but you never know with Hasbro. Okay, no, that works. Immediately, I like that so much more. Okay, so let's try with the Malto twins. Doop. The Malto twins, there's just siblings. Okay, so, Robby and Mo, I do think that actually looks really nice. I think there's still issues there, mostly just they don't look very Transformer-y. But okay, that's good. But then Bumblebee and Twitch, that is so much better. It helps that Twitch already has yellow in her design with her fans and then that kind of center light. So that just looks really nice, actually. So, that's the weird thing, is I'm about to say if you get one of these two packs, you need to get both, because that's how you get the better looking combined modes. It's also, now I want to see what it would look like if I were to get, say, a second Twitch 2-pack and do just a full combined Twitch to make like Ultra Twitch. I don't think I'm ever going to do that unless I just see these for sale for like $5, but yeah, these super modes really work. To the point where I almost think they designed these two to combine with each other's partners, because they couldn't sell a 2-pack of just the Maltos, so they combined them up. So, it's decent. These are good little figures. I also realize I've neglected to talk about the articulation in the combined modes. In combined mode, there's nothing in the head still. We have up and down the shoulder, you have side to side, you have an elbow, and nothing at the wrist, but you still have the universal hips, and then you have back and forth at the knee. So you have less articulation than when they were just those singular robots, but still enough to work with. So would I say these figures are worth the full price? If you could get all 4 of them, maybe. Because they go for about $20, or at least they did in my area. If you can get all 4, then maybe. Because they're all basically warrior class figures with some extra gimmicks. If you were only to get one 2-pack, I do think Twitch and Robby is the better 2-pack. I also just don't think that they're good. I think that these 4 only work when you have all 4.